Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Guys, are America's top universities becoming a battlefield in a global power struggle? So, today two powerful moves are shaking the foundation of the US education and a national security. First, former President Donald Trump is calling for a cap on foreign admissions at Ivy League schools. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has just announced that the government will start revoking visas of the Chinese students, especially those tied to the Chinese Communist Party or studying in the sensitive fields. So, guys, these aren't just the headlines, they represent a major turning point in how America views its relationships with the international students and foreign powers like China. So, why now? Why is this happening now? What's really at stake? And what could this mean for the future of higher education and global diplomacy? So, let's break it all down. Let's start with the Trump's position. Speaking at a campaign rally earlier this month, Donald Trump didn't hold back. He said elite universities, particularly the Ivy League, are too full of the foreign students. His argument was that these prestigious schools are being flooded with the non American talent, leaving fewer opportunities for the American born students. Now, this isn't the first time Trump has taken aim at America's educational institutions, but this time his message struck a deeper chord, tapping into rising concerns about the national security, economic competition, and even the cultural values. Trump wants to impose strict caps on the foreign student admissions at Ivy League schools, suggesting that taxpayer funded institutions should prioritize American students first. It's a bold, populist message, and it's resonating with a certain segment of the public that feels left behind by the globalization and unchecked immigration policies. But critics argued this move could also backfire, undermining the very institutions that thrive on the international collaboration and the diversity. After all, many of these foreign students not only pay full tuition fee but also contribute significantly to the American research, innovation, and startup culture. So, guys, is this just the political rhetoric or a sign of policies to come? That's where Marco Rubio's announcement takes things to the next level. So, what was the Rubio's visa revocation announcement? Just days after the Trump's remarks, Secretary of State Marco Rubio made headlines of his own, announcing that the US would begin revoking student visas held by the Chinese nationals. But this isn't just about the immigration. It's about the espionage, intellectual theft, and national defense. Rubio made it clear the United States will now aggressively target students linked to the Chinese Communist Party or those studying in the critical fields like engineering, artificial intelligence, and advanced science. So, why? Because of growing evidence that the Chinese students, many backed by the state sponsored governments, are being used to gather sensitive information and steal the intellectual property from American institutions. According to Rubio, this is no longer a speculation, it's a strategy. The FBI has repeatedly warned that the Chinese government uses non traditional collectors, often students and researchers, to obtain the US technology, military secrets, and cutting edge research. These operations, according to the federal investigators, pose a direct threat to the America's national security. Rubio's statement was very blunt. There is no right to a student visa, he said. We can cancel a student visa under the law just the same way we can deny one, and we will. Now, let's see some of the real cases and real threats. And these warnings aren't just rhetorical. In 2020, a Chinese military officer, Ye Yankin, who was enrolled at Boston University, was charged for hiding their ties to the People's Liberation Army. She allegedly sent US documents and military intelligence back to China, all while posing as an exchange student. Then in October 2024, five Chinese nationals studying at the University of Michigan were indicated for lying about their visit to US military site and trying to delete photo evidence when caught. In yet another case, a Chinese student named Wan Shengyu was arrested in California for shipping military materials to North Korea. He had overstayed his student visa, blending into the system without raising red flags until it was too late. So, guys, these aren't the isolated events. These point a disturbing picture of how international student programs can be exploited and why the US is now taking a more hardline approach. Now, let's look at the bigger picture, which is politics, education, and global power. So, how do Trump's proposed restrictions and Rubio's crackdown connect? Together, they signal a major shift in how the US views its educational institutions, not just as places of learning, but as a frontline assets in the fight to protect American values and national interest. Both Trump and Rubio are responding to broader concerns about China's rising global influence, the erosion of intellectual property rights, and fears that American universities have become unwitting accomplices in a global game of espionage and manipulation. At the same time, these moves raise through the questions. Will reducing foreign students' access harm the US innovation? Will it damage the America's global reputation as an educational hub? Or are these steps necessary to protect the nation's future? And what about the thousands of innocent, hardworking international students who have nothing to do with the CCP or espionage? Will they be unfairly targeted in the name of national security? The answer isn't simple, but the message is clear. The US is drawing new lines when it comes to those gets to study here and why. So guys, what do you think? Escaping foreign student admissions and revoking visas a smart step towards protecting America, or is this an overreach that risks turning higher education into a political battlefield? Whatever is your view, one thing is for sure: education is no longer just about the books, classrooms, and degrees. It's about the power, strategy, and a survival in a rapidly changing world. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video insightful, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives on the stories that matter most. This is Lakhan Tanmani, and we will see you in the next video.